What's up, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY in the overall markets. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Mumu link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY on invested cash. The offer ends very soon in just about 10 days. Anyways, now let's talk about the markets. So, as far as Tesla goes, just know that Tesla has been range bound between this 330 area and about just under 348, or very close to that range. We've been going back and forth for almost 3 days now. And our support has now gotten a confluence at this 20 EMA. So as we dipped closer to 330, we also happen to have this support right here at 334, so very close to that range. That's our 20 EMA that's holding Tesla up so far, and that's going to be our critical support of the day. So far, Tesla's holding support very nicely. So is SPY. We did dip a bit, but now we are seeing that 585 level being defended on SPY. And the market got this big sell off because of some tensions involving this situation with Ukraine and Russia. That's one factor. And then I would say there's also some profit taking approaching Nvidia's earnings because we are approaching the end of the year and hedge funds do tend to do this during the month of November. They're also creating really good buying opportunities for a potential rally for the end of the year. I think that's another factor that's going on. So there's a lot of stuff happening. I think that the market is going to see some nice upside to have closed this year off. I think that they're creating more buying opportunities. So we're seeing some rebalancing and factors like that playing a big role. And as far as Tesla goes, I do anticipate that as of right now, we're going to be just range bound, I think, for the rest of the day. But we're going to be looking for a very, very big move depending on NVIDIA's earnings. It's going to be a sink or swim for the markets, so to speak. And we'll see what that leads to. We'll see what NVIDIA ends up telling us about their overall guidance, what happens with their products. And they're going to be addressing a lot of claims about some of their chips overheating. So we'll see what they say about that. And then we'll see how Wall Street responds after that as well. Now, as far as Tesla goes, there's been some news that's come out that the Tesla Model S has a secret unveiled. There was one that reached about 1,000,000 miles. I believe it was in Germany. And this is very, very big news. So they're basically a man ended up helping his Tesla reach about over 1,000,000 miles, which is pretty insane. And we want to actually look at what it really took to do that. So what it really took was the fact that they had to make a lot of changes to it. They were saying that regular brakes and smart driving were very, very key to expanding the lifespan. And then they also had to replace the battery pack, I think, about 4 times. Uh, so that's very important. Each one lasts about 300,000 miles. So they had to keep replacing it. I'm sorry, I think they had to replace it 3 times, not 4 times. They had to keep replacing it. So that's a very, very long lifespan for the battery packs. They last over around 300,000 miles. And gave us more insights about what else they're capable of doing. He gave it a lot of nice maintenance and factors like that, which helped it really work for a long time. So I do agree that Teslas are very sustainable. They will work for a very, very long time. And the longer you drive them, the more better it's going to be for the environment because as time goes on, they're going to be offsetting the carbon emissions and the amount of fossil fuels used to produce the battery packs and the car itself. So when you drive it for a long time, right, you're basically replacing fossil fuels being burned at least during that period of time. I saw some studies that estimate you have to drive your Tesla for like 50,000 miles to kind of break even with that. So then if you drive them for over that period of time, it does make things a lot more clean. But as time goes on, let me just say that that's something that's worth mentioning. Tesla is working to make their vehicles a lot cleaner, and they're very, very sustainable. So I think that's very awesome about how durable their products tend to be. There's also news coming out right over here about how Tesla's selling 7-inch versions of their humanoid robot Optimus. I think they're at about like $40. It's a 1 to 10 scale. They stand at about 7.16 inches tall, and they're assembled over 40 parts. That's pretty cool in my opinion. Very cool for people who are interested in just having a little action figure. So Tesla's selling these pretty cool stuff. Besides that, now the market is basically just waiting for Nvidia's earnings. So that's going to be the next major catalyst. As far as Tesla goes, at least from a technical standpoint, we're watching to see this 20 EMA. So we're looking at this support right here, just at this current level at 338. Below that, we have 334. If we lose 334, this is gonna be our critical support. If that fails us, we will turn more bearish, and we're looking for like that 330 target. Otherwise, we're just completely range bound. We have 340 as our resistance as well. Get above that, I think we could be looking for 344 all over again. Otherwise, we're just trading sideways right now between 338 and 340. I think Tesla continues to sideways price action alongside the markets until we get Nvidia's earnings. If Nvidia absolutely explodes after earnings, this could help Tesla try to push back up to about 350, which if we break, we could be looking for the 360s. If we get a rug pull thanks to Nvidia, we're going to be looking for a break below 330 for Tesla. And that'll take us down to that gap. I just want to make that very, very clear. Nvidia is, it pushed quite a bit. It did dip a bit all the way down towards that 142 area as we saw some profit taking. Now it's getting bought back up. It's in the mid 140s. It's going to likely continue to shuffle between 144 and 146, just trading sideways. And I'm not really expecting much for now. So give this more time to develop. For ES is also just trading sideways. We're range bound right now. So ES has the 4-hour 20 and 50 EMAs as resistance at 59.40. Our support is currently at around 58.75. So we're just going back and forth between these levels. So I think there is potential for us to try to push a little higher. It's about the 59.30 area, but otherwise I just see it being range bound for now until we get Nvidia's results. Bitcoin's more bullish, trying to break out for that 95,000 target, doing a very, very good job. Then we have the Qs. We have NQ, which is just like SPY and ES, is very range bound. We're stuck between our 20 and 50 EMA's resistance, and then our support is going to be at 20,500. So we're going to be watching that just continue to trade in that range. For SPY, let me just bring up SPY. SPY is over here as well. Very range bound, right? We ended up dipping down to the 4-hour support right over here. And I think we're doing a good job at holding up so far. So we're trying to hold 584 as our main support. And we have this resistance to watch for around the 590 area. So 585 is going to be our main support area, and then 590 is going to be our tougher resistance. 588 and 590. I think we're going to most likely trade sideways in that range, but I think that SPY could attempt to rebound. This is just a small dip, but we're holding support nicely, and then we'll have to see how it goes from there. When you look at the daily time frame, for instance, you could also see that SPY is still stuck between these gaps. So if Nvidia gives us a rug pull, okay, and we end up losing the 585 area, we could be coming back down to fill this gap all the way down around 580 and then 577. If Nvidia gives us a big pump, we're going to be looking for 593 and eventually a break closer to all-time highs. It could go either way, but so far SPY is holding support nicely, and we'll just have to wait and see what Nvidia gives us. For the rest of the day, excuse me, I think that SPY is going to be just range bound where we currently are. It's going to be most likely 2 points above and 2 points below the 588 area. That's going to be our range, 586 to 590. And I think we just trade sideways for the rest of the day, not really doing much. We could attempt to push later on, though. For the QQQ, we did dip a bit, but now we're getting bought back up. So we grabbed more liquidity down here at 496, and now we're trying to hold above 500. If we manage to break through 503, we're looking for a push all the way up towards 507. And if we end up losing 496, we're looking for a dip down here to fill this gap down here. So we'll see if we break this resistance to push up to fill the upper gap at 508. We'll give the QQQ some time, and we'll see how it develops. It's still trading sideways. So I think it just continues to do that between 502 and 500. Apple pushed up to about this 230 area, came back down, trading sideways, not really doing much. I think we just remain range bound between 227 and 229. For the IWM, is kind of flat right here. We're looking at 228.93 as our main supports. If this holds, we could attempt to rebound. And if we lose this, we could be dipping lower back down for 226.8. We're range bound here, but we could attempt to rebound for 232. I think that the IWM will attempt to push higher for above 230. Otherwise, it's just going to be in that range. For coin, we have a bearish divergence that's starting to form. This might be dipping closer to about this 302 area before it tries to bounce. So give this more time to develop. For Amazon, we have support at 201, not to mention this 199 area. And we have this resistance around this 204 area. So we're kind of stuck in the middle. We could dip it to 201. We'll have to see if we bounce or not, but we're just going to be range bound for now. For Meta is also range bound right here. We'll have to see if we hold above 564 or not. If we lose that, we could be dipping back down for 561. If we hold above this, we're looking for a pushback up to 568. For Microsoft, we're also just range bound right here. Our support is at 412, resistance is at 419. We might attempt to push to about 418 later on, but I think for the most part, we're flat. We're waiting for Nvidia's earnings. It's either going to launch us into the 420s or we get a big rug pull below 408. So it all depends on that. Google's also range bound. We also have this resistance to watch for around 180. Not to mention 175 is going to be our main support. And I have one more ticker I'm going to talk about. Let me just see if I could find it. I was going to be talking about MSTR. I know a lot of people are talking about this. This is very bullish, guys. Very, very bullish. I will call out the 4-hour time frame. So if you want to turn bearish on the chart, you want to see it lose some of these critical supports that we happen to have. You want to see it essentially lose the 450 area. If that ends up failing, and then as long as we're bullish, I would say you want to see if it could break past 500 to remain more bullish. This might attempt to try to retest the 500 area, but we need to break that to remain bullish. So that's going to be a tough resistance. And then for support, look at that 480 area to see if we hold that or not. That's going to be the main level to watch for. So we're watching these levels very, very closely. Can we hold above 480? If so, we're going to be looking for a test of 500 very soon, which I think we're going to be doing. But we'll see if that breaks or not. This may also be impacted by others out there, such as what happens with Nvidia's earnings. So we'll be watching these supports. On the 30 minutes time frame, make sure you guys watch 461 and 450 is our two main supports. And then we'll see if you crack past 500. It's very strong. It may attempt to do that. If it does, I think 525 is going to be our next potential target. So this chart looks very bullish to me, but we need to break 500 for confirmation. I want to make that very, very clear. With that being said, I want to thank you all so much for listening. I think that the market's getting bought back up slowly, but for the most part, we are range bound. And Tesla, of all things, is also just stuck within this range. So we're still trying to hold above our key supports, which is once again at our 4-hour 20 EMA. That's going to be the critical support at 334, excuse me, which is where we're stuck. So otherwise, I just see Tesla trading sideways, not really doing a whole lot right now. It's a little bit lackluster because of the fact that one of our insiders did end up selling some shares. I did talk about that in my morning video. But besides that, now it all depends on Nvidia's earnings. So I think Tesla just remains range bound until then. Thank you all so much for listening, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you guys in a couple of hours for another update, and peace out.